Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show and our usual Monday night roundup, looking back at the weekend's action. What a good weekend it was for all of the sides across our region and those slightly to the east as well. I'm joined by Gareth Walker, Dave Foy, and Stephen Downs from the off. Hopefully, a little bit later on, Jason Booker might get a chance to join us to talk Leeds United. We've also got a couple of minute video from our very own Stephen Brownie, as well, reflecting on the FA Cup draw for Leeds that we made earlier on this evening. First things first, how are we, guys? Are we all well?
Not as well as you, Chris.
Apart from the football, it's been absolutely fantastic. But with the football added in, it's been a bit worse. And that's after 3 points.
This is, if I just need to remove one,
we don't need to see
another.
Hey.
That was very peculiar. I only got 2 Daves. I mean, yeah, look, I love how you said apart from the football, even after a bloody derby victory, Downsy. I mean, that is
it was the worst. It was the worst. It was the worst derby. The worst derby win in history. Trust me, it was shocking. I didn't see one good quality piece of play on Saturday. We did an hour yesterday, and we struggled to find a positive because the goal wasn't even scored by us. But I'm sure we'll come on to that.
I'm sure we will. Gaz, good to you. Bradford, of course, back to winning ways, back at my parade as well, and made that count.
Yeah, we just need to learn to win away from home, don't we? If we can pick that up, pick up points, start picking up points away from home, we could be where Lincoln are.
To be fair, you have picked some points up away. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Bradford won away at Cardiff.
Yeah, first half of the season we were all right. It's been since Christmas, really.
Won away
it was
at
a
Cardiff.
It was a very, very good win on Saturday. A good performance in really tough environment because the referee was absolutely diabolical, and I'm sure we'll come on to that when we talk City later on.
Absolutely. But yeah, hang on. So Bradford won at Cardiff, Lincoln won at Cardiff. Downsy, what did Huddersfield do at Cardiff?
Do you know what, Chris? I actually can't remember, mate. I'm trying to forget this season as it goes on.
Dave, a good win for Town, which we'll start with, actually. We'll start with the non-league and then move on to League One. So coming on to Halifax Town, I mean, look, you were away from home, and in this case, that possibly helps, given that at home it's been, mostly draw central at the Shea. So an away win on Saturday, and actually, on the face of it, a very good away win at a strong Hartlepool side.
It's the first time we've won at Hartlepool since 1999. I mean, there's been a few seasons where we've not met, but, you know, we were reacquainted in 2017. It's not been a happy hunting ground. I didn't attend the game, but from what I've heard from people that have gone, it was not necessarily undeserved, but I think Hartlepool had the better of it in the first half, and we maybe grew into it a bit the second. We should have beaten them at home, and they sucker punched us, I think, in about the 84th minute. So it's kind of evened itself out from that kind of perspective.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the game itself, I would say you said you didn't make it yourself, but look, at the moment, it's all important just to keep notching up wins as and when you can, and hope that obviously Southend, as we talked about last week, drop points. Another goal for the man that you signed for a northeastern club in Spennymoor, Will Harris.
Yeah, 25 for the season now in all competitions. I think it's 19. No, it's 21 and 4, I think he's scored. So he's got 21 league goals. So he's the first Halifax player to get over 20 league goals since Lee Gregory back in 2014. So yeah, incredibly happy with that.
That is a hell of a feat, to be fair, isn't it? Especially as you say, given the last was Lee Gregory, and last year, what a little bit of an icon he was for Town, and what a career he's had since Town as well. Like, I mean, obviously, say for Harris to notch up over 20 in the league is bloody good going.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. He's sort of an all-rounder, really. He can do a bit of everything. He's over 6 foot tall, but he isn't particularly tall. He's literally everything. Like, he isn't slightly built, but he isn't like a tank either. Like, he's just a bit of an all-rounder, really. He scores more. He did score from outside the box, actually, against Hartlepool. I think it was across the goalkeeper into the right-hand corner. Most of his goals, like good strikers, come in and around the 6-yard box, if not certainly in the 18-yard box. So a long-range finish from him. But yeah, he's got a bit of everything, really. And it's somebody said it best, I think, on the forum. We most of us attended the Bradford Park Avenue friendly. I can't remember who were there and who weren't, but a good majority of the West Yorkshire Football Show were there. And I'd say that of our attacking options, it was probably Kurt Willoughby that stood out more than anybody. And we didn't sign him. He scored that day, and Will Harris looked a bit, I don't know, just sort of. I mean, I think as a whole we were quite underwhelming that day. But yeah, it's great to have a striker on. Now 25 goals, and who knows how many more he's going to get. I hope he breaks 30. That'd be incredible, because it's been a while since we even had a striker break double figures. You're talking Billy Waters in 2022. You know, under Chris Millington, we were well known. Obviously, I think we finished last season with something like we scored 48 and conceded 47. As top scorer was Jamie Cook, who got 9, and he only got 7 in the league. You know, there was a few occasions under Fullerton and Millington where we had strikers in single figures. There'll have been stuff we've covered over the season, so it's a refreshing change. We're pretty good in midfield. We signed Ash Palmer, who was announced as a loan signing for a month just prior to kick-off.
Yeah, and he went straight into the National League Team of the Week as well, I think it was, or non-league papers Team of the Week.
Yeah, I don't like to set much stall by Teams of the Weeks in newspapers, because they just. I don't know what my criticism is, but I don't. What's the word I'm looking for here? I don't take a lot of like information or stock from who's in the Team of the Week.
Yeah, it doesn't always mean a great deal, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's just nice that he was. Obviously, it's nice he was in there, but we've kept a clean sheet. But Will Smith returned, crucial at the back. Between him, Sean Hobson, and Ash Palmer, yeah, we're brilliant. We've only got him for a month officially at the moment from York City, surplus to requirements. Obviously, York are doing they've got their own title charge, and loaning him to us doesn't really hinder York in any way, shape, or form. Because say we sneak in to the top 7 and we play York, he wouldn't be able to play against him as his parent club anyway. So it's a win-win. Our assistant manager Sam Walker played with him at Stockport County, and that's Adam Lakeland said that's how we've essentially signed him. He already has a connection with Sam Walker, so it was more our assistant manager's role in getting him. But yeah, rave reviews from Adam Lakeland post-match. He said something like he managed to head a ball 20 yards up the field rather than just heading it out or just clearing it out, and he said it's so crucial that players can do that. Basically make a powerful header, and we aren't putting ourselves on the back foot with conceding an attacking throw or just clearing to the edge of the 18-yard box from dead ball situations or just crosses coming into the box. So yeah, Adam Lakeland very happy. Which I said, it was a difficult place to go, Hartlepool, which it is. As I've alluded to, we personally haven't won there for 25 years for a number of factors. But yeah, all in all, a great weekend. Slight dampener was Carlisle rushed into a 2-0 lead against Southend in the 5:30 kickoff, but Southend managed to come back and draw 2-2. So we're now 2 points clear when we could have been 3, but they've still got 4 games in hand.
And right on cue, we'll bring up that table there, as you say, with the results from Saturday's Town, sitting 7th, 8 points behind Scunthorpe United, having played 2 games more than them, and 2 points ahead of Southend, with Southend having 4 games in hand, as you say, on Halifax. We kind of said last week, it's slightly out of Town's hands, so to speak, even though you're the one that's in the position that you would want to be come the end of the season. It's just a case of taking week by week and hoping that the likes of Southend drop points, I suppose. But you can see, I suppose, looking at the table, how crucial a win away at Hartlepool that was, given their chasing position as well.
Yeah, absolutely crucial, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we've only got a +3 goal difference to Southend's 23, so that's almost worth like an invisible point to Southend's. It's totally Southend's to lose now. I think it's any 3 from Halifax, Southend or Hartlepool. I think Tamworth have probably got a bit too much to do. Yeah. And Boston, I mean, Boston had a slow start to this season, so I think Aldershot did. You know, Aldershot were in the bottom 4 before John Coleman took over, so they've stormed up the leagues in the last couple of months. But yeah, I think it's any 4 for that one place. No, sorry, any 3 from Hartlepool, Southend or ourselves. It's Southend's to lose. It's as simple as that. It's Southend's to lose. We do play Southend at home in our last home game of the season. I think we're away after that. We've opened the season with an away game at the first game of the season, and were away on the last day, but I think that was more to do with the pitch. We had to switch a game with Wealdstone. We played Wealdstone away rather than at home at the beginning of the year so that we could rest the newly laid pitch. But yeah, 100% Southend's to lose. We haven't got a great record against Southend either, so we didn't have a great record against Hartlepool, and we beat them. However, we were unbeaten in 25 years against Gateshead. They'd lost 16 games in a row and they beat us. So it's been a season of firsts in terms of records at either end from an Halifax Town perspective. So
love how you're putting the pressure on Southend, Dave. Mind games. It's
absolutely theirs to lose.
Well, look,
it really is. They were playoff finalists last year. You know what I mean? It is absolutely theirs to lose. They can easily pull in 8,000 and 9,000. They shouldn't be at this level.
If they don't do it, Dave, are you going to come on the last show and call them bottle jobs?
Southend?
Yeah. Go on, do it, Dave. Do it, and then we can.
Yeah, okay, I will do. If they bottle it, I will do. Yeah.
Couple of comments from Neil Harris. He says, "Come on, you shaman." He also then follows out with, "In Adam Lakeman we trust," and he's very confident about getting that win over Southend. He says, "We will win that match against Southend." I mean, looking ahead to next week, it's not an easy one for Town at all. No. Back at the Shea against the Boreham Wood side that will just quickly bring that table back up. Boreham Wood going well themselves in fourth.
Yeah. I mean, they were top for a while, weren't they? They've fallen off the last couple. Mind you, saw Forest Green and South. I mean, you'll know more than anyone, obviously, having your Rochdale connections. There were 6 teams in this title race at one stage.
Yeah, then they beat York last midweek as well to do Dale a favour, which was just I think Dale beat them 4-1 at Scotland not long since, about a month or so ago, and then as I say, they then ended up beating York. They're beating Scunthorpe as well, I think, at their place as well. They're a tricky little side of Boreham Wood. They're having a really good season for a new promoted side, but equally in Luke Garrard, they've got a manager that has done very well with Boreham Wood in previous seasons at this level and knows the league well.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to. I can't remember at the time if Luke Garrard chose to step away from the club or if it was a club decision, but they certainly faltered when he wasn't at the helm because he was Boreham Wood's manager when they first come up to the National League in 2015. They did. I think they stayed up nearly a decade. They haven't been relegated. I think they got relegated under his stewardship, maybe, and then he stepped back or left.
That was
back, got them promoted, and now they've been back a season. And
I think he was only away for about 6 months. That maybe first half of the season, and then he fancied it. I'll be honest, and I've said this for a long, long time with Luke Garrard. I've been really surprised that he hasn't been given a chance by an EFL side, like certainly that kind of London and surrounding area, over the last 4 or 5 years because of the job that he's done at Boreham Wood. But to be fair, like everybody else who's lost is very much Boreham Wood's gain on that front.
Yeah, I mean, Barnet were looking for a manager at one time, and they went and got Dean Brennan, who played for another North London side in Wealdstone, and he's done very, very well at Barnet. They're obviously now a League 2 side. If we're not moving too far away from the sort of London scene, I think Sutton put faith in Steve Morrison. Maybe the timing just hasn't.
They've changed this season. Yeah,
for
he was on this season.
So some managers just fit certain clubs, and some players just fit certain clubs, and that's just how it is. I don't know if it'd be a little bit of snobbery from when the likes of maybe Charlton and such were in League One to go and get a Boreham Wood manager. Maybe it'd be they're thinking of a backlash from supporters without even giving him much of a chance. I don't know. Maybe he's just fallen into that sort of area. Barnet went and got a decent manager. Wealdstone would be a sideways move the way things are going, and there's just a bit of a gap there that he falls in between the two. Maybe I'm not sure, but yeah, he's certainly done a great job.
If put it this way, I think if Richie Wellens were to leave Leyton Orient, I could certainly see Luke Garrard making that sort of move to someone like Orient. Kind of your final thoughts and predictions then for Saturday before we move on to the rest of the non-league scene.
I want to say I'd take a draw. I'd take a draw now, but if we want to make the top 7, we have to win. We've got Scunthorpe on the horizon in the next few weeks. I think it'd be 2 weeks this Saturday or a week this Saturday. So we we've got a chance. We've got a chance, but all the pressure's on Southend. We've still got Boreham Wood to play. We've still got Scunthorpe soon. Like I said, we've got Southend to come. We've made it difficult for ourselves by struggling with the bottom four clubs. I mean, we beat Morecambe home and away, but in both games, Morecambe were incredibly competitive. Truro beat us down there. We beat them. It's the bottom end of the table where we've lost a lot of us points. I mean, we're 2-0 up against Aldershot and lost 3-2. I know they've had a bit of a resurgence, but we've been indifferent against the top 7 or in and around us, but we've been particularly poor against the bottom 4, especially away from home. We had an awful record until recently where we hadn't actually won an away game south of Birmingham. We just didn't travel well down south. It was literally like that. We went somewhere and won, but for a long time, I think we'd only won 1, 2 or 3 league games anyway, so it weren't a huge net of clubs. But yeah, south of Birmingham, we hadn't won until, I can't remember who we beat, but we beat somebody. But it was a record that stood for quite a long time.
Yeah, and that's obviously there's a lot of sides south of Birmingham in the National League. Tuesday, we'll see what comes of the weekend for that home game against Boreham Wood. Going on to the rest of the non-league scene in our region, into the Northern Premier League. You see Guiseley, they got a 1-1 draw at home to Workington. Jordan Thewlis getting on the score sheet to give Guiseley a level in front of just over 750 at Nethermore Park. That point leaves Guiseley sitting 11th in the Northern Premier League table as it stands. Into the MPL East, a few sides from our region in action. As you see, Emily, they lost on the road by 2-1 at Bishop Auckland. Bradford Park Avenue got a comfortable 3-0 win over Newton Aycliffe. Silsden, they lost a man late on, but the damage had already been done. 2 late goals in that game away at Dunstan. Martin Bastille giving them an early lead, but 2 goals in the last 6 minutes of the game for Dunstan turned that on its head before Cole Hyde was sent off in that one. Gareth Town lost on the road again up in the northeast at Heaton Stannington. Whilst Pontefract Collieries, they got a good 3-1 win on the road at North Ferriby United. And finally, Ossett United, they were beaten by a 1-0 by relegation-threatened Blythe Spartans, although, and we were talking about this briefly, I think it was last week or the week before, regards Blythe Spartans. They have climbed themselves out of the bottom floor and a little bit away from danger now. A change of managers worked wonders for them. They currently sit 15th. As for the Yorkshire sides in the MPL East, Emily currently sitting 3rd, Bradford Park Avenue 4th, and Pontefract Collieries in the final playoff spot at the moment in 5th. So we could be in there for some showdowns in the playoffs if things stay that way between now and the end of the season. Garforth currently sitting in 9th. Silsden up to or still in 13th, now safely in mid-table, and Ossett just looking over their shoulder at the moment, above the dotted line in 18th. Brighouse Town currently second bottom with no wins in their last 5. In the NCEL Premier Division, Liverpool showed 2-0 win on the road at Beverley Town. Frickley were beaten by a 1-0 at home to Barton. Horbury got a goalless draw against Handsworth. Thackley got a point on the road in South Yorkshire at Parkgate. Golkert were beaten at Sheffield, much fancied Sheffield that is as well, by 3-1. And Tadcaster Albion, they got a 3-1 win away at Wombwell Town. And a pretty much full fixture list in the NCL East, in the Northern Counties East Division 1. Plenty of goals on display over the course of the weekend at this level. For the sides in our regions, I quickly glance on that and just see what's what. Ilkley Town were beaten 6-3 away at Goole. And switching over to the rest of the fixtures in the NCL Division 1. South Leeds got a win away at Wakefield side, Nostell Miners Welfare. Wakefield themselves got a good 3-0 win over Doncaster City, including friend of the show, Ethan Kachosa, on the score sheet in that one. Route 1 Rovers and Zach Khan on the score sheet for them in their 3-0 win away at Winston Rangers. Zach Khan just cannot stop scoring. He's been at it all season. And meanwhile, Leeds UFCA lost 3-0 away at Worsborough Bridge. That rounds up the rest of the non-league scene from
just quickly, Chris.
Go on, Dave.
Liversidge, I think, only need 1 point from the last 6 and they'll be champions as well. It's just worth mentioning.
It is. I will just double check the table. Actually, I didn't get a chance to grab it earlier, but yeah, they are 17 points clear at the top. Danny Forest Liversidge. So it's been a great season for them. Quick look at who else is where at the moment. And there's Campion in fourth, obviously based in Manningham here in Bradford. Tadcaster Albion sit fifth, and them two face each other as well at Campion on Friday night. So that could be quite the humdinger of a game, it's fair to say. Elsewhere in the table, Penistone Church sit 11th, Thackley in 12th, Frickley 13th, Ecclesdale United 14th, Galk 15th, and Horbury 16th, with Albion Sports in 18th. So there's a whole cluster of West Yorkshire sides in the lower half of the NCEL table. Let's turn our attention then to League One. And you wouldn't know it, but Huddersfield Town won at the weekend. Not really know it looking at Stephen Downs' face. A 1-0 win over Rotherham United. You won, Downsy.
It didn't deserve so. We were crap.
Isn't that the best way? Isn't that the best way? The games where you don't deserve to win it, but you take all 3 points all the same.
No, because I wasted 3 hours of my life, and in the goal that we scored, we didn't have all to do with it. It was crossed in. The lad headed it over his own goalkeeper, and it was just. Listen, I'm happy for the 3 points. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that we're still sixth in the table in the playoff place, but I want to earn a playoff place by actually, being half decent, not by being whatever that was on Saturday. It was pretty depressing. It's, in fact, to be honest, in some ways, I've come out of championship games where we've been not very good and we've won, and that's fine because you're at championship level. You're doing all you can to sort of stay in the division. But in this guise of Huddersfield Town, when you know the players are so much better than what they're showing on the field, you know that the manager should be so much better than what he's producing tactically on the field. And I'm not having a go at Liam Manning. I don't think he should be sacked or anything like that. But, obviously. But, it's so depressing. It's soul destroying. 12,000 in the crowd and there's just literally no atmosphere. And some will say in the comments, oh, well, it's Huddersfield Town. There's no atmosphere anyway when there's a full stadium, which is absolutely rubbish. When the John Smith Stadium, when the Aku Stadium, is rocking, it's a great place to be. It's a fabulous place to be. It's one of the best places.
Once a decade.
Well, no, shut up, Chris. But you are slightly correct in the fact that the only other time it's been rocking is when we had Neil Warnock there and we survived. But it's just soul destroying, mate. You watch the football and the standard is horrific. I mean, like I said, there were 2 bits of quality in the game, really. And they were both by the 2 goalkeepers who made two great saves. But apart from that, I mean, here's a stat for you, right? And I could not believe this stat. In the first half, in the entire first half, there was only 8 successful passes in the final third between both teams. 8.
It's not a glowing stat. I mean, I'm just looking through the overall stats for the
glowing?
game.
Disgusting.
I mean, look, Huddersfield 6 shots to Rotherham's 13. Huddersfield 2 shots on target to Rotherham's 5.
We should not have won that game. We shouldn't have won it. I'm not saying that. I mean, Callum tried to argue that we should have lost it. And no team both clubs should have been liquidated for how poor that game was on Saturday.
Jesus Christ.
It was. I've seen National League. Dave has watched National League for the majority of his supporting life because he doesn't give a crap about anybody above Halifax Town, and he's watched better football matches than what I sat through on Saturday. Trust me.
Oh, of course he has.
It's awful. It's just awful. But anyway, I'm really glad that we got 3 points. I'm really glad that we're going to get smashed to bits in the playoffs by our nearest and dearest in the top right corner. And even if by some miracle, because it's Huddersfield Town, that we get through the playoffs, I can't wait to get smashed over 46 games next season in the Championship.
That might just be the most depressing, pessimistic review of a win we've ever had on this show in all the years we've been doing it. So, Downsy, thank you for setting some form of new standards for that one, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I know Gaz is delighted with his win, and because his club's on the up. Yeah, I mean,
72 cheesy backing it with we ain't getting in the playoffs, Steve.
Well, no,
it's all joy and happiness here for Huddersfield.
I'll be honest, cheesy lad. I'll be honest that I agree.
Apart from that, we're still sick.
But apart from that, we are still 6, and James does make a point, But give me another positive. I mean, I think James commented on the Town Talk show yesterday. So, if you want to go watch the delights of that, and please do sit through the session yesterday, because
you're not selling it though, are you?
No, but this is what fandom is. This is what being a fan is. You can only truthfully react to how I see, and I know I don't see much because of me, my blindness. But what I do see is sometimes I wish I hadn't seen on Saturday.
Let's turn to Gaz. Gaz, Bradford won. Are you happy they won?
Delighted they won, mate. Yeah, we were up against it on Saturday. It's just one of those games where we played really, really well. And anyone that watched my match review and my usual match reviews, and particularly the one on Saturday, know that I don't like to slag referees off too much, because I do think that over the course of the season you get good ones and bad ones. I mentioned in my match review after the game on Saturday that he was, well, it was probably I think it was a year. I looked it up. It was about a year since I felt as strongly about a refereeing performance as I did. The last one was Thomas Parsons for us against Tranmere, and that was, I think it was like the 15th of March last year. And then we got Ollie Yates on Saturday for the Leyton Orient game, and he was just absolutely appalling from start to finish. And we did really, really well to maintain our composure, to still play reasonably decent football, and to come out of the game with 3 points, because we were really, really up against it because of that referee. And when the winner went in, I think it was about 4 minutes after Aidan Baldwin had been sent off, put down to 10 men. It was joyous because we've been up against it, and to get 3 points in that manner was really, really satisfying.
Yeah, as you say, it was 2 goals for Anthony Sasovich either side of an Aidan Baldwin sending off. Talk us through the red card. I mean, I've just quickly had a glance, and when you ended that game with 6 yellow cards and 1 straight red by the looks of it.
Yeah, I think someone pointed out to me that I think at least 2, if not 3, of the bookings were for dissent around the time that Aidan Baldwin got sent off, either just before or just after. The referee was just losing control completely. I don't know if anyone's seen the red card. He wins the ball. It's a hard, firm tackle, and he wins the ball cleanly. The Leyton Orient player goes down holding his knee. And then when you watch the replay, Aidan Baldwin's nowhere near his knee. He's just done the referee over completely. It's one of those though that, because I think it was so hard and so firm, and it was such an aggressive tackle. Mark Bauer pointed out on the radio afterwards that he didn't see any way that we'd get it rescinded. Rescinded. Graham Alexander said afterwards that he'd watched it numerous times on a replay before he'd done any interviews, and commented on what a brilliant tackle it was, and that he wanted to appeal it. It has been announced just before we've come on air tonight that they have appealed it and they've had it rejected. So it will still be a 3-game ban for Aidan Baldwin. I urge anyone to go and watch that tackle. It's just a really, really good tackle. It's probably one that 5-10 years ago it wouldn't have been a red card. But I would have got overturned 5 or 10 years ago. But the way the laws are now, they back the referee, and anything that's deemed as being excessive force is given as a red card, and the referee's backed. I think what stuck with City fans, or got City fans' backs up more than anything, was in the first half. Josh Groma, ex-Town, Leyton Orient player, gets booked for a cynical tackle on Bobby Poynton. Bobby Poynton's breaking into the Leyton Orient half. He's about a third of or halfway into the Leyton Orient half, and Josh Gromer's chasing him and hacks him down from behind. Literally, he's halfway up his leg when he hacks him down. It's an horrendous tackle. It's a yellow card. It's not a red card. It could have been a red card, but I can understand him being given a yellow card. Obviously, stopping the breakaway. And then about 10, 15 minutes later, he does another one, similar one, on another City player. I can't remember who the City player is now. And everyone's waiting for the referee. Very similar tackle. Everyone's waiting for the referee to bring out the yellow, give him the red, and he doesn't. He just gives him a talking to. So what does Richie Wellens do?
He subs him
as soon
off.
as the game restarts, subs him off. And that's just an admittance from Leyton Orient that we know he should have been sent off, and he's going to get sent off next time. And then, then the Aidan Baldwin one. But it wasn't just those two incidents. There were just numerous things throughout the whole game. Linesman gave an offside for a Curtis Tilt header, which I don't know how it could have been offside because Leyton Orient player headed it off the line. So I don't understand how Curtis Tilt could have been offside. There were a period in the second half when they were playing basketball down the left hand side with Leyton Orient, and he never gave one handball. The Leyton Orient goal came from a move where there were two fouls in the move on Bradford players. One of them was a double-handed push in the back on Sarcevic. It goes absolutely flying. Referee staring right at it, doesn't give a free kick. And then there's another one. It's a hard tackle, similar to the Baldwin one, that got him sent off on Max Power. Max Power's driving around on the floor. City are obviously 2 players down, 2 players out on the pitch, and Leyton Orient score. So there were just numerous things throughout the whole game. The Aidan Baldwin tackle itself is one where we thought in the ground. I didn't want to comment till I'd seen it afterwards because we sit behind the goal and it was down the other end of the pitch. But the players come together and the ball comes towards us. So it was quite obvious that Aidan Baldwin had won the ball. But I didn't want to see it. And then when you see it afterwards, both players going equally as hard as each other. It could have been a free kick to us. And if it could have been a free kick to us, it could have been a red card to them just as much as it could have been the other way around. So it's just really, really frustrating. Completely lost the plot, did the ref. And almost spoiled what was a good performance. And the fact that we got the winner after the red card made it quite sweet, really. I don't know if anyone saw it. It's a really good through ball from Stephen Humphries, who actually came on and played off the left for once. Spins his man and plays Sarcevic in behind, and he just dinks it over the keeper as he comes out. And there's no one in that Bradford City squad who you'd want in that position more than Sarcevic on a one-on-one.
2 points there. One, Josh Gromer's never been known for his tackling, to be absolutely honest. He couldn't tackle a bag of cement at Town, so I'm not surprised that he nearly got sent off. Trying to tackle. Second point is, wow, Stephen Humphries playing off the left created something. Who'd have known that would have been his best position?
No, we've talked about it a lot, haven't we, down to me and you and me and Chris, and anyone that follows League One has talked about Stephen Humphries and obviously Graham Alexander's absolute defiance that he's a centre forward and he's going to play him as a centre forward. Stephen Humphries has actually been on the bench. I don't think he's started a game since January. And I think that's twice now he's come on and played off the left and looked really good. So I don't know whether that's Graham Alexander having a change of heart. He was asked about it afterwards and he kind of laughed and just said, well, we had Mullin and Swan on the bench as well. So we had Mullin, Swan and Humphries all on the bench. So if anyone was going to come and play off the left, it was going to be Humphries. And he was brilliant when he came on and played off. So you saw anyone who saw that goal will tell you, spins his man, great ball in behind. And it was just, he looked a real threat. So whether that's something we'll look at throughout the rest of the season, I don't know. It's obviously something that we've tried in the last 2 games, having not tried it previously.
Right, let's get to the good bit. The league table for League One.
Do we have to?
We do, because Downsy, you're 6th. Bradford's sitting 4th. Come on, lads, discuss.
I don't.
It was important. Go on, Downsy. You go first, mate.
No, you go, guys. You're the positive one here. Even after 3 points.
Let's get the negativity out the way. Go on, Downsy.
Well, there won't be much room for positivity, but
oh, the will. I will make room for positivity.
Oh, we know. I'll be off before that Muppet starts up.
What's that? 19 points, I think, that gap.
Yeah. Well, it's just an average. It's just this is a very, very poor Huddersfield Town side. If this was a good Huddersfield Town side, Lincoln would leave Lincoln in the dust like the non-league club that they are. But there we are.
Like hell, you would.
I think you look at the teams below Town. Obviously, Reading got I think they all won. Reading, Stevenage, and Wickham all won.
No, Wickham lost at Bolton.
Did they? Oh, okay.
In fact, Bolton pulled off in classic Bolton fashion. I think they were 2-0 down in something like the 85th minute and came back to win 3-2 late in added time with Bolton.
They scored. They scored on the 88th, the 91st, and the 96th, and won 3-2.
Absolute shithouses. They scored so many late freaking goals.
Someone pointed out to me, Chris, how many late goals they scored. I hadn't realised, but you're right. Someone pointed out to me on Saturday they have scored a hell of a lot of late goals this season.
It's insane.
I don't know how you see it, guys, but I think the top two is done. I think it's done. I think you might as well give the league title to Lincoln. I think the playoff places. I think Bolton's pretty assured of being in there now. I think you guys are. I don't see the likes of Reading, Stevenage, Wickham catching you guys now. I think you playing too well. I don't see you losing so many games in the last 10 games. The ones that are cut adrift for me, I don't see Luton getting in there. I don't know what you think, guys, but for me, it's Plymouth. Plymouth up to Stockport could be pretty tasty.
I'd go with that. Out of the from Plymouth upwards, 100%. Barnsley possibly because they have a couple of games in hand. But yeah, Plymouth are the form team. Wickham were doing really, really well prior to the weekend. Like you said, we just talked about obviously 2-0 up with 2 minutes to go at Bolton, and then Bolton scored 3 from the 88th minute onwards. Our problem is going to be winning. Is our away form. It's going to be, if anything stops us, it's going to be our away form because we just cannot buy a win or even a point away from home at the moment. It's gone back to how it was last season, and that's a real worry. Obviously, we talked last week about the Reading game, where we've shipped 2 goals in the 91st and the 99th or whatever it was to lose 2-1, having dominated the game. We need to get something away from home. If it was just on home form, I'd say, we should do it. But yeah, the away form could easily hold us back. We play Port Vale away tomorrow night. It was important for us to get that win on Saturday because obviously Huddersfield had won, Reading had won, Stevenage had won, and then Bolton came back and won. Stockport didn't play, I don't think. I think they were due to play. Were they due to play Port Vale? I think they might have been due to play Port Vale.
FA Cup won it, yeah. I mean, I honestly believe out of all them sides that we've just talked about, genuinely, and I'm not just saying this to be negative, but I think we are the least scary side in that playoff race. I genuinely do. I think, Stockport, they can get a win. They have been they've been more inconsistent this year than last year, definitely. But Stevenage play their home form really well, like you do at City. Reading keep picking up results. They've been a bit of a surprise for me of Reading. And then Michael Duff with Wickham. I think he, like you've just said, guys, they keep getting results. But as a Town fan, it absolutely scares the crap out of me that we're going to get in the playoffs and we're just gonna die and roll over to anybody in the playoffs.
I think just from
go on, Chris.
I was going to say from a Lincoln perspective, and the thing that still concerns me, even though we've got that 10-point cushion to Bolton at the moment, is the fact that we actually still have to play 5th place Stockport we've got at home on Saturday. We've then got 6th place Huddersfield next week. We've got to go away to Reading and away to Stevenage. We've got Wickham at home. We've still got to play a lot of those sides that are going to have a lot to fight for in terms of the kind of trying to make the playoffs. So that's from a Lincoln. That does concern me in terms of a title race / promotion race, but also goes to potentially mean that we might have a little bit of a say, depending on what results we get against those sides, as to how the playoff race pans out as well. I mean, it would just be bloody football. I mean, Lincoln have got to go to Exeter tomorrow, and I was saying to Gaz before we came on air, I could absolutely see it being football, where we go and win at Cardiff at the weekend, and then we'll go and lose away at Exeter tomorrow night or something. But equally, if we don't lose at Exeter tomorrow night or Stockport the weekend, I'm convinced that you, Downsy, that you're going to be the one to scupper things and end a belting unbeaten run.
Yeah, but we'll probably beat you. Even if we did beat you, we'd probably beat you with an own goal anyway, and it just be not deserved. I mean, guys, you wanted to come in there about the playoffs. I don't know if that was on the back of me saying how toothless Town were, but
I just
what were going to say, Matt?
I know you what you're saying about you're quite negative about Town at the moment, but I don't think anyone will want to play Town in the playoffs. And just given your record in the playoffs, I don't think anyone would want to go to Town in the playoffs. From a City point of view, that Reading game was a big kill, a big kick in the balls, because that would have been a 13-point gap for us over Reading, and it's a 7-point gap. Those 2 goals in time added on have really swung it. So, like I said, we need to get something to start getting points away from home, because otherwise the pressure on our home form could become really telling. We go to Port Vale on Wednesday night. We've got Port Vale away. Obviously bottom of the league, but having a hell of a run in the cup, and have actually picked up a few results lately. I was looking at the results. Yeah. I think the 5 unbeaten. Obviously, 2 of those are in the cup against Bristol City and Sunderland, but 3 in the league. And a damning stat that they've not won at home since January. So that is a stat that City are obviously going to help them out with on Wednesday night.
I think they made such a good appointment in John Brady, and look, even if it doesn't work where they stay up this season, sort of thing, even if they go down, I think in John Brady they've got a really, really good manager to bring them back up from League 2 next season. Jason Booker is joined us, graces with our presence. How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, very well, mate. Very well.
I'm just going to throw that league table for League One back up there just before we move on completely. League
God,
One.
move on.
As a general neutral. What was that down to?
Just move on. You've won the title.
I was just gonna bring up a couple of comments as well from James. Lincoln have been phenomenal this year, so fair play, and done on a pittance compared to some indeed.
James, don't give him a bigger head than he needs to.
And then in response to me being worried about the Huddersfield game next Tuesday, he says, Lincoln look far too organised, Chris, when you watch what we are watching. I mean,
we're about as organised as a pack of Doritos in Tesco's.
Lovely analogy. Things don't change.
Classic Downsy. I mean, look, that's the League One table as it stands at the moment. I mean, obviously for Bradford and Huddersfield, Jay, it's still very much in that playoff race.
Yeah, I mean, City would be fully expecting to get in there, given the run that they started the season on and the position that they find themselves in. They've got themselves a nice buffer, but for Town, it's a bit of a battle in it, and it's funny because there was a honeymoon period of such. I think Manning got back-to-back wins on joining. But then it seems like things have just gone back to how they were. Because with the nicest will in the world under Grant, they were practically trending exactly the same. And from the kind of gauge that I get, I don't think the performances have improved really. So I hate to kind of say it really, but it kind of just goes into line with what we have said to Downsy all year, in that Town find themselves in the position that this squad is capable of. I think it's an expectation thing rather than a underperformance thing. I think Stockport are the opposite. If I were sat with Downsy and they had Stockport's team, I'd be saying, yeah, they should really be in the battle with Lincoln and Cardiff. I think County will be disappointed with their season so far, personally. Yet they find themselves in the same position as Town. So, yeah, League One's forever interesting, and there's Wickham, Stevenage, Reading, Town, County that are all fighting for 2 spots. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of sides, isn't there? When you look at Reading, Stevenage, Wickham, even Plymouth and Barnsley with a couple of games in hand, if they go the right way, could drag them back up the table into that mix. So it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. A couple more comments. Cheesy says, "Don't be worried, Chris, and well done on your promotion. We're not over the line yet, but I am starting to think we might just get there."
From a Huddersfield perspective now, I've just seen a couple of the comments then. Like I've seen Jed's about it's the players clearly obvious. Like I think at the end of the day, it's just the quality. That's it. I know Downs has kind of pushed back against me on that all year, but it's now under 2 managers. The performances have not got better. Whether it's a mentality thing or a quality thing is irrelevant, because mentality is part of the ability that then we see on the pitch. You know what I mean? It's all encompassing, isn't it? And I don't think altogether, when you look at their team, I don't think they're actually performing that badly. I think they're in the position that they should be.
Can I come back on that?
I mean, you can. I will caveat that with, to be fair, Jay isn't the only one over the course of the year to be
No.
We thought Sam would be around the kind of 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th kind of bracket.
Yeah, and to be fair to Jay, he's maintained his opinion all year, and at the moment, in terms of performances on the pitch and what the players are producing, Jay is correct. The difference is, I don't believe when you pay 1.3 million for Alfie May, who scored 80 odd goals in League One before and bagged, season after season, scoring 16, 17 goals in League One, and yet he's got 3 goals for us. One of them being a penalty at the start of the season. That's not good enough.
Tactics.
But that's the point, Chris. That's what I push back on. It's not the quality of the player. The quality. If you look at individually, the quality of players that Town have bought, they get into more sides in this league. The difference with Town is they're playing in a system and a formation and a style of football that is just not set up for our football club. But I think Jay has mentioned this before, to be fair as well, and others. I'm only saying Jay because he's on. But, it's a culture thing. The one thing just crossing over to Leeds, the one thing at Leeds that Leeds have got right is a culture thing. They're all working in the same direction. They all want the same thing, from academy to fan base. All right, maybe not fan base, but the majority of fans want the same thing. But the academy, the first team, they're all directed in the same way. At Town, it's just an absolute cluster, whatever you want to call it, where there's no structure. There's no structure, and there's no guidance and ambition, and there's a bad culture and mentality at the football club, and that means it doesn't matter what quality of player you have. If the mentality and culture is not there, and it's not being built properly, or it's being built on sand, that's what you get. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get Huddersfield Town at this current time. That's the only thing I push back on.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think when you discuss recruitment, I think that comes in the territory still of them making sure it's the right fit for the club. Alfie May being the example in this occasion, we would have all said that that's a good signing for Huddersfield, but you're comparing him then with playing in teams previously. I know he played for different teams before Birmingham, but Birmingham last season were a completely different animal. And the players that are then, creating opportunities for him and creating them chances, and not the players that he's got behind him this season. I've seen Jed's comment there about signing Championship players. I said when Marcus Heinz signed, as an example, bang average League One player. He's a bang average League One player who's played at the Championship.
And I'm not disagreeing with you. He's been bang average this season, absolutely, as is Ryan Ledson. But that's not what we were sold, Jay. We were sold Ryan Ledson played 300 games at Preston North End, going for the playoffs, trying to build something in the Championship. We've nicked one of their, decent midfielders. Marcus Heinz played in the Premier League, been at Ipswich, played at Portsmouth, same thing. Do you know what I mean? They've sold the players to us in a certain manner. Even Joe Lowe coming from Wickham, who we've hardly seen. We have signed one of the best centre-backs in League One in Joe Lowe at Wycombe because of his stats last season. So that's the only thing I push back on you on. But I agree with it. I think we agree in a lot of senses, don't we? You know what I mean?
Cannot believe you're still banging out and rolling out that one of the best centre halves in League One line. What a crock of crap.
Football's an opinion game, isn't it? And it's all about opinions, and that's why me and Jay love each other, because we constantly
Joe Lowe was doing well in a good Wycombe side, but that doesn't make you one of the best centre halves in the division.
No, I'm not. Did I say that? No. Did Town say that?
He's one of the best centre halves in League One.
Yeah, but I only repeated what the club said when they signed him. Anyway, Leeds are staying up. Lincoln have gone up. Bradford will win the playoffs. Halifax hopefully will be in the playoffs, and Town will be in League One next season. So
all of them things will definitely not happen.
100% they will.
Some of them will, but hopefully.
We've had a weekend where all those teams have won. That hardly ever happens.
Yeah, and I'm still depressed, Dave.
And you're still depressed.
Daz is still on suicide watch for Scamden Bridge. So
anyway, I'm going to head off. So it's lovely to see you all. I'm glad that Jay you've got on Monday. It's I don't think you need to worry about going down, mate. I think Tottenham are looking like a basket case. So
it's still a long way to go yet, mate. We're not home and hosed like Lincoln are. So
no, like Lincoln are definitely home and hosed.
I think Lincoln are definitely home and hosed, yeah.
And on that note, we'll say goodbye to Stephen Downs.
Chaps.
We'll see you soon, Stephen. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch the thing across to that, and I'm gonna start us off with Brownie's little 2-minute video that he sent us in a little bit earlier. His reaction to the FA Cup draw for Leeds United.
Hello, it's Brownie here, just giving you my instant reaction to the FA Cup quarter-final draw. Some big games actually, Liverpool, Man City, but the one I care about, Leeds United, they've been drawn away to either West Ham or Brentford. Would have loved a home tie, obviously, not to be. But West Ham, Brentford, it should be competitive whoever we get out of those two. And yeah, it's going to be interesting, fascinating. In fact, first quarter-final Leeds have played for nearly a quarter of a century. Unbelievable. So we can give it as best. Hopefully, league position isn't too conspicuous at that time. Hopefully, we're not dangling too close to the cliff edge, and we can just enjoy it. We've got an okay chance, I guess. West Ham picking up a bit of form. Brentford have been decent this season. It should be close anyway. It should be close. When it got down to them drawing out Man City at home, I was just praying, please don't be Leeds, please don't be Leeds. And then Liverpool got drawn out, so we managed to avoid that. Chelsea got Port Vale at home, by the way, jammy Chelsea. And what was the other one? We've got Southampton, or Arsenal have got Southampton away as well. So yeah, we'll keep a close eye on that, and hopefully it'll be okay. But it's back to league matters for Leeds United the weekend. Massive game against Crystal Palace. Hopefully the boys can get a decent performance in there. Myself and Jay will be back later in the week to discuss everything Leeds United, give our thoughts, and see where we're at. Keep enjoying the show tonight with the boys, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.
There we go. That's our very own Brownie giving his reaction to the FA Cup draw. West Ham or Brentford. I've not seen the latest score for that one yet, actually. Jay, what was your take on that as a draw? Oh, 2-2. Yes, thanks for that.
Yeah, just got a penalty, haven't they? Yeah, Brentford. It's not the best draw, to be honest.
No, you'd prefer that at home, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, either of them at home would have been favourable. Certainly, Port Vale and Southampton at home would have been even more favourable. I think the game yesterday kind of showed the difference even between a real average Premier League side and a really average Championship side. Norwich had won 9 and 11, I think it was. They were going into it in really good form, and we completely blew them away. I mean, we literally had them at arm's length the whole game. We turned the pressure up for about 20 minutes of the first half, and the game was done. That's literally how it looked. We'd seen that game at Ellen Road 20-something times last season. So yeah, it was a good day at the office, and bear in mind it was a heavily rotated Leeds United as well. So we were it was good to see, and there were some good performances within some of the changes as well. But coming back to the draw, it's winnable. It's tricky. I can't lie. I would much prefer Brentford over West Ham. I don't want the West Ham game because I don't want it to become a battle of the relegation candidates, and then it skews the Premier League in a certain way. And I know what Leeds fans would be like. They'll be all over. We lose 1-0 and it's all why Farker can't keep us up. And I can just imagine it now. So I really would prefer to stay away from that tie, if I'm honest. But yeah, either way, it's a great opportunity to get to a semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely. And look a little bit further potentially. If Leeds could make it, it might be a route into Europe.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of the draw would then say that might be the case, because I mean you could be finding a situation where the team in the semi-finals gets Europe, right? Because if you had Chelsea, Man City, and Man City and Liverpool, right? Chelsea, let's just say it's Chelsea, Man City, and Arsenal. They're all going to qualify for Europe anyway. So the fourth team would then be in Europe, which is a bit mental.
Is that how it works? Yeah. Wow.
That's how I believe it works. It goes to the next in line, right? I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
That would be insane. Especially if Port Vale could get to a semi-final.
That'd be funny.
Well, when Millwall got to the final, and when Cardiff got to the final, the opposition were both already qualified for Europe, so they both got European spots, right?
Yeah, I remember that's how Stoke got into Europe as well when they lost 1-0 to Man City a few years ago in the final as well.
So I'm pretty sure that's how it can. Sorry, guys, you were going to say something.
Well, yeah, it definitely is with the final. I'm not sure if it is if it filters down to the semi-final. You would imagine on that logic that it should do. If it does it for the final, it should do it for the semi. It'll either be that or it'll be someone finishing bloody 9th or 10th in the league, won't it? Which would just be a bit daft, really.
Probably a bit of league position.
There were a time when they did it via fair play, if you remember that. So if there were an equation in which it then went to another club, very similar to what we discussed here, it actually went to the team that had the best fair play within the league, and it often went to the team that were like 16th in the league, and they got knocked out in qualifiers every time.
I think Swansea might have had it at some point because of that.
Yeah, so it is a bit of a bizarre one, and then you go
get it for winning the League Cup.
Yeah, you get one for
Bradford could have potentially played in Europe in League Two.
Yeah. If they'd have beaten Swansea in the final, they would have qualified for Europe.
We'd have been in League One, though, wouldn't we?
Yeah, you're League One at the time, yeah.
We went
in League
up
One.
That
Sorry,
year,
I thought you were in League Two.
We were when we got to the final, but we went up that year as well, so we would have been a League One side in Europe. But
if you'd have won the League Cup, officially you'd have been a League Two team because you'd have still been in League Two. I know you got promoted.
Oh yeah, at the time we won it.
Time in March,
we
would have
still
won
it.
Yeah, at the time we won it. Yeah. Mark who was chairman at the time, did say that City couldn't afford to go into Europe.
Couldn't afford it. How are we going to say that, guys? Yeah, there was a lot of talk about it.
You remember the beautiful times of the Intertoto Cup as well?
Yeah,
I've got into that.
Yeah.
The old champion, you used to have to say whether you wanted to apply for the Intertoto Cup. There's always no.
Yeah. So yeah, mate, I think it's a really, really interesting dynamic. I know a lot of fans have been back and forward over the last few weeks about whether a cup run is worth your Premier League status. I mean, for me, the Premier League status trumps all else. We'll have many of opportunities, hopefully, over the next few years once we've established ourselves to build into an FA Cup potential winner. I wouldn't forsake staying up this season as a consequence, but it is nice to be in there. And I think winning games is always a good thing. It's building good mentality. So, yeah, on to the next round, mate.
Yeah, coming back then to the league situation, I'll just come to Jed's comment actually as well. Jed says you need a couple more wins in the league now, Jed, just to calm those relegation nerves. Certainly getting interesting down there with Spurs. I mean, obviously Spurs didn't play at the weekend, and yeah, they're just mocked by Lincoln instead, as it turns out, and that seems to have gone viral against Spurs fans all of a sudden. As for Leeds, though, look, I think Jed's right there, isn't he? Really, just to think of a couple more wins, just to ease those kind of relegation worries, I guess.
it feels like we're one win away from kind of taking the nerves out of it completely. Like if we'd have beaten Sunderland, I think it was already done. Genuinely, I'd have been in a position where I'm like, yeah, okay, I think we're now safe because there's too much to happen behind us and too many games to play for us not to pick up the points that we'd need. But it feels until we get that next win, we're still well in it, if that makes sense. And the longer it goes, and the more likely it is.
To be fair, you are still well in it, I guess. That's the reality of the situation. It's only 3 points at the moment.
Well, bear in mind when we played Sunderland, nobody else had played, and we would have been then going into that situation at 9 points clear of West Ham. Then West Ham would have then gone on to potentially win. You don't know. It changes the mentality going into the Fulham game. But let's just say that they win 6 points at that stage with Spurs, Forest and West Ham still behind you. With the games that we've all got left to play as well, would have been a completely different kettle of fish. You know, we've got Brentford to come at home. We've got Burnley to come at home. We've got Wolves to come at home. We've got Spurs away. We've got Brighton to come at home. We've got Palace away. I mean, look, I'm naming all these teams that are at the bottom. We play all of them. We literally play all of them apart from Forest.
Doesn't that just put it in your own hands, though? Make you all the more nervous, though, if you screw it up.
100%. I mean, it's definitely in our hands. We would have to really, really throw it away this season to go down. Even though the odds were stacked against us before the ball were kicked, the position that we've put ourselves in now with 9 games to go is really, really strong. I still think, and I've said this all season, I still think we're the weakest of the whole lot out of the teams that we're talking about. I think we are weaker in individual quality than West Ham and Forest. I think, I don't know if you want to put Brighton and Palace in there, but I'd put them in the same equation as that as well. You know, the teams that are around us. The only team that I can say that we are probably in a better position than is Spurs. And that only becomes from a position of the fact that they're an absolute basket case and they've got so many problems going on. It doesn't come from an individual quality basis. So I think a team, some of its parts is really, really important. We've got the capabilities to be able to get the points that we need, but I still think it's pretty sweaty.
Yeah.
I don't know where Chris has gone.
Where's he gone? It's 1 from 4 for me, Jay. It's West Ham, Forest, Spurs, and yourselves. But
yeah.
Spurs are just an absolute mess. The toxicity and the momentum around that football club at the moment has got to worry anybody associated with them, because they're probably wishing, daft as it sounds, you'd probably in a normal situation, Leeds would be the exact opposite. Leeds wish they play every game at home. Spurs are probably wishing they played every game away.
Yeah, it's a serious issue there at the minute. And I mean, the home form's been horrendous. The performances have been horrendous. You know, it's not even like they're putting anything together where you think, oh, they were unlucky today. They're really, really bad. They've not won a game in 2026. They've won 2.
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say that they've won 2 home games in 18, which is unreal when you think about it. Like, for a team as you know, strong as theirs and with such a wonderful home stadium, like, they should be making that place a fortress. They're an absolute mess. We've got to go there before the end of the season as well. I mean, if people are still not coming round to the idea that it's a possibility that they go down, it is absolutely a reality now. You know, with 9 games to go, 29 games in, that form is inherent. And I said this to Brownie the other day. This isn't just a one-season thing either. They finished 17th last season. They are the worst team left in the Premier League from last season. That's a fact. The only teams that were worse than them last season went down. Yeah. So they're a really, really bad side.
That stat that you gave then, where you said 2 wins in how many at home?
2 wins in 18 at home.
They've taken less home points.
I didn't know it was that bad, which is why I said about they wish they were playing everything away, because I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad.
They've taken less home points than Wolves this season.
Which is crazy when you think of how little points Wolves have taken in total. So, yeah, it's a madness what's going on there. And even with the injuries, they've still got enough talent to be putting this right. And there's a mentality problem there. I mean, I watched them against Fulham. They were awful. They could have been 5-0 down before they scored a consolation goal in the end. They were so far off it in terms of effort, quality levels. The only player that was any sort of respect respectable kind of performance was actually great. And I don't just say that because he's a Leeds boy. I think that's kind of coming out over the last couple of games. He's the only one that's kind of putting in a shift. And most of that comes from the fact that he's been played out of position. You've then got a situation with the manager, which I think he goes. I think they've got Atletico Madrid and they've got Liverpool as their next two games.
Yeah.
I think they lose the next two. So I think he gets sacked. And then they're in Big Sam, Harry Redknapp realm, which is usually pretty detrimental at this stage of the season. So
few games to go, it would be as well.
Yeah,
we saw with Leeds when they were last relegated from the Prem. You know, Javi Gracia was how many games did he get? Half a dozen or something, and then a quick fire change and another. Obviously, Sam came in and he didn't have enough time to do anything, and
Gracia came in first week of February, and he was then gone by I want to say the beginning of April when we played Palace. I think it was the game after that he got sacked, and then I think Big Sam had 4 games. I think.
Yeah, I think he literally that's roll the dice. Before we kind of wrap it up for Leeds, obviously Palace away on Sunday, and look, we saw that table earlier. Quickly glancing at it again, a side that have picked up a couple of results in their last 2 or 3 games or so, but obviously away from home, bit of a strange club, aren't they, Crystal Palace? What are your thoughts from a Leeds perspective going into that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think Palace and Sunderland, if I'm honest with you, are very, very, very fortunate that they've picked up some recent points, because I think they're both really, really poor. I think Palace have got quality, and I think they're just on a bit of a weird season. I don't kind of class them in the same realms as Sunderland. I think Sunderland are absolutely shocking. I can't believe we lost to them on Tuesday. I've still not made my peace.
I was deliberately not mentioning them because I cannot be arsed listening to you slag them off for 20 minutes.
No, I need to move on because they're not worth it. They're just a really, really poor side, and they are so out of position. And they'll go down next season if they carry on playing the same way. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, Palace, going into that game, it's a big opportunity for us. We don't travel particularly well, even though we have improved over the last 10 away games. They've still all been draws. I think we've drawn 6 of the last 8 away games, I want to say, which is still decent. It's 6 points. Don't get me wrong, it's not horrendous for a team that's at the bottom end of the Premier League. But it'd be nice if we could kind of look at a point at this as an opportunity to put 3 points on the board away from home. I think we win this game. I think we then have too many games not to pick up the points that we need to stay up. I know 40 points gets mentioned, and it's been mentioned a lot this season because the bottom 3 have been more competitive. I still think it's way higher than it'll end up being. And when I say way higher, I'm talking 4 or 5 points. I think it'll be between 35 and 37-ish, something around that. West Ham have definitely picked up form, but they're not going to continue picking up the level of points in which they have. And even if they do, Forest and Spurs won't. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it'll end up being in and around 35 to 37. So if we win one more game, the closer we win that one more game gives us the most opportunities to then pick up the points somewhere else. So one more win at the weekend will put us on 34 points. We're nearly there then.
Fair enough. We'll see how it pans out. Are you and Brownie on this week with a show or two, perhaps?
Yeah. Are we 2:00 Sunday?
You are indeed.
Yeah. We should be on afterwards on the Sunday. 2:00 Sundays, by the way, is rogue. I don't like the midday Sundays because you have to wait all bloody weekend, and then the abject disappointment then leads into Monday even worse. So, and it just feels like that's going to be a good game for them. Anyway, yes, we will.
There will be content from yourself and from Brownie. I'm sure Downsy will be back on Sunday with the Town Talk show as well next week. Gaz will be doing his post-match review, I'm sure, after the Port Vale game on Wednesday night. And Dave, you'll be back with us hopefully next Monday as well, yes?
Yeah, should be.
Excellent. We'll wrap it up there then. A big thank you to everyone that's got in touch with your comments over the course of the evening. Big thank you to Stephen Downs, who joined us from the Off to Talk Huddersfield Town earlier on. But from myself, from Gaz, from Dave, and from Jay, enjoy the rest of your Monday night. And we'll see you soon here on the West Yorkshire Football Show. Take care.